So let's consider like the processing speed for computers. A laptop computer is what we call 1 gigahertz or 1 gigahash, we call that. So 1 gigahash is the speed of the laptop. So if I get 1,000 laptops together, chumming away, now 1,000 times, that would be a terahash. And then you get 1,000 terahashes equals a petahash. A petahash is basically 1 million laptop computers going in terms of computer processing speed. A petahash. Imagine a room with 1 million laptop computers going. It's quite an electric bill, right? But do you think that you get a better price if I bought 1 million laptop computers versus just buying one? Obviously, I'm buying in bulk. So that was the idea. So we started a club called Bit Club, which we now have 100 petahash, which is the equivalent of 100 million laptop computers, which is in the second largest data center in the world out in Iceland. It's called Verne Global. And we chose Iceland because we're paying electricity for the electric bill, which is only 6 cents a kilowatt hour, which if you try to go mine in California, let's say, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 pricing, et cetera, you're starting to chunk through a lot of electricity. They're paying 40 cents a kilowatt hour in California. So am I going to be more profitable paying 40 cents a kilowatt hour, or be more profitable paying 6 cents a kilowatt hour? And because it's Iceland, I don't have to spend a lot of money on the electric bill to run the air conditioning units, et cetera, to keep all the chips and computers cold. So that's what we decided to do, and now it's really fun because I can go around the world, I can talk with people about Bitcoins and actually get paid now to have a full time to travel around the world. And how this basically works, and why I think all of you guys should get involved with what we're doing, is really simple. Let's say I get that $1,000 piece of equipment, I get the price down to $400. That gives some leeway there to create a commission structure to pay people a full-time income to start talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining, educating people. This is mining, this is where Bitcoin is created. This is an exchange. This is where you turn your Bitcoin in and out of fiat currencies. This is a wallet, you hold your Bitcoins here. I mean, all that takes time to educate someone. You're going to spend a half hour doing it. You should at least get paid for it. So we figured out a way to pay people to promote and educate their friends about Bitcoin. We also have something called CoinPay, which is a merchant acquisition program to actually pay you to go and sign up your hotels in your neighborhood, your restaurants, and your gasoline stations and grocery stores to become merchants to accept Bitcoin. Because the more people that are using Bitcoin, and the more businesses that accept Bitcoin, the more valuable Bitcoin becomes. It's supply and demand, right? That's what Tom was saying just earlier. So the way we decided to do it is we set up our data center, and so how this basically works is we have all of our laptop computers, not really laptops there, this terahashing or petahashing equipment in these chips, these 16 nanometer chips that are really efficient. They burn through a lot less electricity than most of the chips out there right now. And so we've got a huge data center, and whatever it generates each day gets paid out in a daily dividend to our shareholders that buy shares in our pool, which it's not really a stock or security, it's actually physical Bitcoin mining hardware. So what happens is people that want to start mining with us and help us crowdfund our data center, they'll buy shares, we sell them for, well, you've got to become a member of Bitcoin, which is $100, and then we sell shares for $500 a share. And this is how it works. And that equates to Bitcoin mining hardware, so we ship that off to Iceland, we link it together with all the other computer equipment that we have in the data center, and then that hashes. You plug it in and it just goes 24/7. You don't have to pay Obamacare on the back robots making money. They don't complain about working overtime and all this stuff. You just plug it in. We basically are selling machines that print money. That's what this is. Bitcoin mining hardware is a machine that prints money. And so that's what we're doing. Whatever the data center generates each day is paid out to our investors in a daily dividend. That is paid out right now in Bitcoin. We have over 50,000 people around the world in 80 countries now. And we're paying these people in Bitcoin every single day. And it's generating great money. We've already hit over 2,000 blocks. Each block is around $15,000 or so right now in Bitcoin. So if you calculate that, that's like paying out close to $30 million to our investors already. So you can track it. It's all over the blockchain. You can see what mining pools are doing what. Got the ant pool that's going well, the pit tier is going well. But you'll see us on that little chart as well if you go to blockchain.info. So that's basically what we've been doing. We've created a wonderful way for you to also help us crowdfund the mine. If you have any friends or loved ones that you want to get into Bitcoin and help them put the Bitcoin to work. If you buy 10 ounces of gold and put it into a safe, 5 years later you're only at 10 ounces of gold still. You buy 10 Bitcoin and put it in a vault, and wait 5 years later, you're still only going to have 10 Bitcoin. So my thought is, instead of doing that and just holding it and waiting, put that money to work, and instead of just buying the 10 Bitcoin and holding it, I think it's harder to take that money, buy Bitcoin mining hardware, which generates you a bunch of Bitcoin, right? Because 5 years later, you might have 12, 15, 20 Bitcoin, who knows? So that's kind of the idea, is buying the asset, have it start generating cash flow daily in Bitcoin, and then just, that's basically how we set it up. So if you refer some people, we've got that. You make a 5% commission off of whatever they invest, whatever they buy, and so you can actually make a little money referring people, and that's kind of how we've been doing it. We've been taking it all over the world. Last year I was able to talk about this with over 240 cities last year, done in about 120 countries now, and it is a legitimate, real thing that's happening. We have physical Bitcoin mining hardware that is creating Bitcoin for us now. It's $2 million a day that's up for grabs. Every single day, $2 million a day is given away in Bitcoin. $2 million is up for grabs. Right now we're cashing about 100 grand a day. So there's a lot more room for us to grow. And so we want to capture as much of that $2 million that we get every day. So that's how I figured out how to be a full-time Bitcoin promoter. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have in the meantime. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we'll do a little Q&A. How much time is left? Oh, cool, great. We got plenty of time if you guys have any questions or comments you'd like to make.
I think it's really great what you're doing because I had to incentivize. I've been advocating Bitcoin in my local community, and I was trying to figure out how I could, make money off doing that. And thank you for that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd also like to know, since Bitcoin right now, as we know, it's the full node service. In order to maintain the blockchain is, quote, a charity service right now. How could we incentivize that in the future to, pay people to actually maintain the blockchain?
Well, paying people is a wonderful way to incentivize people. So, there's a lot of really smart, creative people in this space that are way smarter than me, and I love going to all these events and listening to them, and they got good ideas on how to solve these issues. I just recently set up my own node in my own house, because one of the cool things that happened with us recently is we actually our mine hit the biggest block in Bitcoin history. Someone by accident the other day, they meant to send like $150,000 to tag on a $5 miner fee, but they sent $5 and tagged on a $150,000 miner fee. So when we hit the block, we were only expecting 12 Bitcoin, and all of a sudden 150 grand in Bitcoin because of the transaction fees. So I was like, well, what are we gonna do? We gotta give this back to the poor guy that hit this block, that made this mistake. So we put the word out, who made a mistake? We know how you feel. I've made stupid mistakes before too, and we're willing to give you your money back for $150,000 miner fee. So we did this, we went around, and we couldn't find the owner who made the mistake. It might have been some Chinese guy that wasn't speaking English when we were saying, hey, we'd like to give this back. So we decided that instead of keeping it for ourselves, we would split it all up and give some to a coin center. And so we did a $5,000 donation to coin center, and they sent me my first note. So now I have a note like a coin center t-shirt. The Bitcoin Alliance, or the Blockchain Alliance, Digital Chamber of Commerce, we gave 50, 60 grand to Bruce Fenton over there at the Bitcoin Foundation, etc. So I got to play Santa Claus. It was kind of cool. So I got to dig out this big, donate to all these charities, which was a lot of fun stuff.
Hi, Joby. This is JP from Phoenix.
Okay.
And so you mentioned you're earning about $100,000 a day, so monthly maybe $3 million a month.
Right.
And so how many Bitcoin miners do you have at your facility?
So we've got about 100 petahash right now. We just put in another order for 60 petahash, which we should be taking delivery on the next 60 days or so. By the end of the year, we should have about 300 petahash going, which, like I said, petahash is the equivalent of 1 million laptop computers. So we're getting up there. Our power bill is $1 million a month.
$1 million a month?
That's our power.
Oh, really?
So what happens is like about a third of the money we're bringing in, we actually have to spend on electricity. So if you guys have any good ideas on like free energy, magnetic motors, thermal depolymerization type technologies, we're all ears. I think the Bitcoin miners are going to be the ones that actually bring the free energy to the world because it's so expensive to run all these computer chips and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers. Anybody else got this? Make Bitcoin great ahead, Pat. I like that.
Thank you. My question is like, so when you got this crazy transaction there going, why didn't you send it to the original send from us?
It came out of the mixer. We didn't know who it was. So I'd rather just give it a bunch of charities instead of keep it for ourselves. So I didn't feel like we earned it, you know. And plus, like Tom was saying, there's a lot of scammers out there that are doing a lot of unethical things and ripping people off. And I wanted to make sure that people knew that we're different. That just because we're using Bitcoin doesn't mean we're a bunch of criminals. We aren't trying to scam people, and so I did that as kind of like good faith to prove, hey, if we were scammers, we would have just pocketed the money and said, screw you guys. But we did. We gave it to a lot of charities in the space, and you know, and hopefully we don't get as much flack because there are a lot of mining, cloud mining things out there. But we're not actually really like that because we're actually buying physical Bitcoin mining hardware. And if you ever want to take delivery of it, call us up, send us an email, and we'll ship you your equipment right to your doorstep. You can mine at home if you don't want to mine in our data center and reap the profits and the benefits from buying at such a deep discount and then getting electricity for so cheap. It's so much more profitable, I feel, doing it this way than having, you know, a bunch of miners in your basement around. I mean, it's more distributed that way, and there's an argument there too. But I'm looking at this long-term, like, you know, when real estate's being transacted on the blockchain, when all these other things start taking place, you know, there's going to be some serious cash. I was just thinking about this a second ago. When we go into a business and say, hey, you guys take Visa, MasterCard, American Express, right? The restaurant or the hotel says yes. We say, well, you should take this little widget, add Bitcoin, and now people can pay you Bitcoin. 2, you know, instead of paying 3% like you do with Visa, we're only going to charge you 1%. Right? That means you don't get any chargebacks. That's another big thing for merchants is no chargebacks. So merchants say yes, we take that 1% fee from all these thousands of businesses, we pool that 1% fee, and we pay that out to our shareholders in that pool as well. So you can get a piece of all the transactions in Bitcoin from all the businesses around the world that all of our club members go and sign up. So that's happening too. And we're also in negotiations right now to have an ATM network as a part of it as well. So we're doing lots of new things, not just mining, but merchant acquisition, et cetera, as well. You got a question right there?
Yes. So in the past, when I looked into your products, they were always potentially intransparent in my opinion. For example, you could never find any information about what your hardware is being bought or how many hash you're even buying.
If you go to
because you're basically just buying a relative share, and you have not even any information about how many shares are there in total. So you're basically buying a black box. Can you please tell me?
Yeah, so what I do is I buy these block boxes, which is 7.5 petahash, about $1.2 million or so. And these block boxes, you know, not everyone's got $1 million. So we just buy that and parcel it out to the shareholders. Whatever the box generates each day is evenly dispersed to those investors that, you know, help crowdfund and buy into the block box. So we get those, and if you think about it, each block box currently at the difficulty, because the Bitcoin network difficulty changes every day, and the price of Bitcoin changes every second, so it's kind of hard to like calculate what people's returns will be. So we try to under-promise and over-deliver, and you know, we've been doing pretty well. About 3 to 5% a month is what we've currently been doing. But that's all determined on the difficulty and the price of Bitcoin, which I don't know what that's going to be in 3 months. So it's kind of like, here it is. But currently, one of these block boxes generates 5 Bitcoin a day. So 5 Bitcoin a day is $1,000 a Bitcoin. It's $5 a day. Costs about 50 grand a month to run it, because it's 1 megawatt of electricity. So if it's 5 grand a day times 30 days, it's 150 grand minus the 50 grand for the power bill. So we're at 100 grand a month profit. After 12 months, that's $1.2 million. That covers the cost of the box, which is $1.2 million. So the idea is to get into ROI within our first year, and then just generating whatever is after that is profit, right? It's kind of like buying a solar panel. You know, the upfront capex cost is, let's say, $10,000, so you're paying until that $10,000 is off, and then everything after that solar power is generating electricity. Once you get your additional investment back, everything after that is profit. So you know, a year from now, the price of Bitcoin, a lot of us are thinking it's going to be $2,500, $3,000. So it's going to be nice when this thing is starting to generate Bitcoin after it pays for itself, because we're going to be getting Bitcoin at a higher rate. You had a question? Oh, you had a question.
I like what you do.
Thanks.
And like when this all first started out, you could do this on a little crummy laptop, but the processing power increased and increased and increased. Do you foresee all of the hardware that you have now becoming obsolete?
Absolutely. You have to update it all the time. So let's say someone were to, let's say JR, you refer me. So I decide I'm going to invest $1,000. I'm going to buy 2 shares in the pool, let's say. So you would make a $50 referral bonus for referring me. So there you go. Makes $50. Now, let's say that my shares are going, I got 2 shares, let's say they're making $2 a day per share. So let's say in the back office you can have it do a 50-50 split, a 60-40 split, or a 70-30 split, meaning you can compound your daily dividend. So let's say if it's $2 a day and it's at a 50-50 split, that means I'm pulling $2 a day out of my wallet, and the other $2 goes back into buying me a 3rd share. So in 250 days times $2, that's $500, that's 3 shares now. So those 3 shares work together by your 4th share, the 4 shares work together by your 5th share, so that's compounding. Meanwhile, I'm still pulling out $2 a day, putting that in my pocket, I get my initial investment back, and now I'm basically playing with the house's money. So that's kind of like how this works. Now, why do we have that rebuy? Because once that you go from that iPhone 3, think about, you know, we're hashing, because when we started with Bitmain, it was the S3s, the S5s, the S7s, the S9s. Same with, like, say your iPhone is hashing Bitcoin. You got an iPhone 3, but you don't want to pull all the money out because you got to save a little aside to buy the iPhone 4 when that comes out. iPhone 4 comes out, you sell the 3, you hash, you're saving, let's say, 30% to the side. You know, you pull it out 70%, because you know the iPhone 5 is going to come out. When the 5 comes out, you sell the 4, you take what you saved, hash again, because you know the iPhone 6. So you want to always save a little bit on the side so that you can re-up every time the next model chip goes from the 28 nanometer chips to the 16 nanometer chips. So that's why we do that. Plus, it's nice to just have it compounding, and then you're like, wow, this thing continues going, and we've got these machines that print money. And one of the really cool things about the whole program is you literally don't have to tell anyone for you to make money, because the machines are actually making money. A lot of these programs out there, any kind of network marketing program out there, it's usually you sign up, and then you don't make any money until you sign your friend up. And if your friends are buying the vitamins and minerals and whatever they're buying, after like 6 months, if they stop buying product, the commission stops flowing to you. And if you stop ordering product, then you don't get a check either. Most people hate that about network marketing. They hate having to tell their friends about something. They hate that automatic order. They got it to make money, not to spend money. So most people hate network marketing for that very reason. And so we decided to get rid of that. There's no requirement for you to tell anyone. You don't have to tell anyone. You're still going to make money because the machines are making us money. And there's no automatic order, so you don't have to, you're not spending anything either. So it's different than most opportunities out there. I think it's awesome. We're doing it in all the countries all around the world now, and educating people about Bitcoin, getting them mining, getting them in their restaurants and the grocery stores and their gas stations and their businesses to accept Bitcoin. And of course, it makes the ecosystem better too. Go team. Oh, someone here? Thanks.
You're paying 6 cents for your electricity.
Yes.
What are your most efficient competitors paying for theirs?
Oh,
how long would it take if I invested today to recoup my investment?
that's hard to say. It all depends on the price of Bitcoin, the difficulty, how many blocks we're hitting. But I look at it. It's an argument. My one friend looked at me and he said, "I think it's better to buy it and hold Bitcoin because of the value of Bitcoin going up and the speculation and all that, than it is to buying mining shares and mining Bitcoin." For me, it's stressful to see the price change every 10 minutes. And I got my friends, should I buy? Should I sell now? Should I buy? The price of Bitcoin jumped up $8 today. Should I buy something? I'm like, that stresses me out. It feels like I'm in a casino, I'm playing heads or tails or roulette, and it's all on black. I don't like that feeling. To me, it makes me stressed out. So I just like having Bitcoin just coming into me, paying me every day. I don't care what the price of Bitcoin is, because I just compete in Bitcoin every day. Whether it's up or down, it doesn't matter to me. And that's easier for me than knowing what I'm supposed to buy, what I'm supposed to sell, all that kind of stuff. And so that's just how I prefer to do it. But you look at most people out there. My buddy had a garage full of tires. he's like, I'm gonna sell these tires and buy some mining shares. I'm like, that's probably a good idea. You'll probably make more money than having the tires just sit there not making you any money. Turn the tires, the mining shares, buy Bitcoin. So there's a lot of things out there that people are doing. Some might be more profitable than mining. Some might not be as profitable. I think if you have $10,000 in your Federal Reserve note cash and you're saving it in the bank, 5 years later, that $10,000 in Federal Reserve notes more than likely is only going to buy you $9,800 worth of stuff. So it's going to lose value if you're saving dollars. If you're saving gold and silver, you know, you have 10 ounces, like I said, of silver in your safe. 5 years later, you still only have 10 ounces of silver. So to me, I think in my life, because I used to do silver and gold, I just wanted to put my money to work for me. My first goal was I just want to have 1 Bitcoin a day coming to me. I'm just going to work this thing, and I'm just going to get 1 Bitcoin coming to me every day. That was my first goal. And it wasn't hard to get to there. Now I'm helping a lot of my friends, you know, making lots of Bitcoin. Go ahead.
So just, I have a question just for the sake of the audience and stuff. What you were talking about,
There's a microphone right there.
your analogy when you said, you know, you have to bring people along slowly. You know, you're at the college level, and then, you know, you're talking to people that are kindergarten in regards to this. The barrier to entry into mining is comprehension. So, how, for the sake of the audience, where can they go to get educated, to get their hand held as they go through the process? Because you have to be enrolled by a member.
Right, so you can't join Big Club, it's like a country club. The member has to invite you in. You get a link. We'll invite you in with if you have a pen or a piece of paper, write down bitclubrevolution.com. That's bitclubrevolution.com, and you can just watch the videos and everything that are on there. It goes, what is Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin mining? How does BitClub work? And then that's all you do. And then if you want to become a member, it's $99 to join, and then you get through that same replicated page, translate it out in 25 different languages. So if you have friends that speak Russian or Japanese or Korean, you can send them the link and it explains it all in Bitcoin, all in Korean or Japanese. So you don't even have to speak Chinese if you don't want to, if you want to make money doing this, because we already have the website and everything translated out for you. So I appreciate your question. I appreciate you guys listening to me. It's really fun to be a part of Anarchapulco. I love all you guys and keep fighting the good fight. Cheers, guys.
I would say Bitcoin, digital currencies are really changing the way that we do life. Now, when you get into it, sometimes we're a little bit concerned. Which way do we go? What do we do? One of the wallets that I have used that I've been very pleased in using, just by personal self-disclosure, is called Airbase. It is one I know many of you are using. There's pros and cons to all of them. But right now, I want you to have that pen and paper ready to go, or your note-taking device of choice, because now we get a chance to hear from the president CEO of Airbase, what it's about, and the whole concept of using this. His name is Paul Quay, and he joins us now. Join me, welcome.